Hi everyone, this is Lisa and welcome to Make It Monday. Today is week 30 in my series on dynamic duos, where I'll be teaching you 2 projects using the same product. Today I've got something for the guys, which could also be used for a beach theme. Let me show you how I've created this card. You're going to notice that this fish has very much a 3D or a speckled look to it, and this technique is called thumping. So let me show you how it's created. I'm using very vanilla cardstock, and I'm using the fish from the stamp set By the Tide. What you do first is you're going to ink up your stamp in a neutral color. So I'm using crumb cake. With the stamp face up on the table, I like to use the lightest of my colors first. So I'm going to start with the brush end of the Island Indigo, and you are literally going to thump this just like this, messy and all over, on the fish. Then I'm going to switch over to Night of Navy and do the same thing. Then I'm going to recommend that you huff. Since it's dye-based ink, you want to make sure that it hasn't dried before you're able to stamp it. And that is how you get that speckled look. It's kind of neat, huh? Of course, I cut it out. And I have to brag on my hubby. For those of you that watch my Storage War videos, you know how handy he is. We call him Bob the Builder. He actually made these mock hooks using some wire. And you can do the same thing with a paper clip, or if you're pretty handy with some beading wire, this could be easily created. But let me show you quickly how I put the card together. I stamp the base of the cards with the coral and the words from the same stamp set. This, of course, is crumb cake, and then again, Night of Navy, which are the colors that I've been using. Then I created a very vanilla panel. This measures 2 inches by 4 inches, and I stamped the coral on this one in Island Indigo just to tie the colors together. And then I'm layering this. This piece of crumb cake is just a 1/4 inch bigger, so this would be 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. That's going to get mounted here with dimensionals when we're done. I was really struggling with a way to attach this, so I decided to poke a hole. I'm using the 1/8 inch handheld punch. I'm going to make a hole near the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these pieces together. But before I do that, I did create a small banner for Happy Birthday, and I'm going to create a hole in this as well. Now, I'm going to caution you not to make the hole too shallow on the paper, otherwise it can rip. I like linen thread, but I really like the burlap better. So this is a piece of burlap ribbon. It's cut about 10 inches long, and if you cut off the seam stitch binding on this end, you can actually pull out single strands that I like to use for tying. So I folded this in half. So you're going to have to build from the top down. So I want the banner first, and then I want the top of my hook, and then I'm going to string it through here. Okay, so this is all going to come together like this, and then I just tied it in a knot. Now you can leave this loop here, or you can snip it open, which is what I did. I just snipped the end open, and if it's a little bit too long, I went ahead and I gave these a haircut. And then again, like I told you, I mounted this up on dimensionals. Now, if this flapping around is just too much for you, you can add a tiny glue dot or even a dimensional to the back of the fish so it stays in place. But I kind of liked the 3D look. This was one of my swaps from Stampin' Up! Convention just about a week ago. But let me show you the dynamic duo. Check out this gift box. It's definitely great for a small gift for a man, or even for someone with a beach-themed wedding. I used the exact same concept here with the thumping technique. Cut him out, he's on the lure, and this time, instead of actually placing a hole through my box, I used one of our metallic clothespins in the silver. The stamping is exactly the same, but let me teach you how to make this box. You will need a 1/2 sheet of very vanilla cardstock for this box. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. This is called the 2468 box, and it's just that simple. So let me show you. With your Stampin' Trimmer, using the light blade, which is scoring, you're going to score at 2 inches. You're going to move it over to 4 inches, and then 6 inches, and then over here to 8 inches. And then all you have to do is turn this one time so it's facing the long way, and you're going to score one more time for 1 inch. Okay, so let me fold these up so you can see where I'm at. Remember to always use your bone folder when you're doing 3D projects. That'll give you really nice crisp creases and will make your project stand up much better. And then here's that 1 inch fold at the bottom. Okay, now there's a small section right here. I don't know if you can see it. We're not going to need that. And instead of fighting with it, I cut it away. So I just took that off. All right, then we're going to snip up from the end to that 1 inch line on each of these other scores. 1, 2, and 3. And because we cut this one away, it's already there. That's it. Now you would stamp. You're also going to see that I actually put this one through the large polka dot embossing folder. And I'm going to give you a couple tips about this. So if you put it in here, you're going to see that it fits perfectly widthwise. Remember that the Sizzix and the Stampin' Up! Logo is the front of your embossing folder. So these are going to end up being raised dots, just like this. But on the back side, you're going to get, like I said, de-embossed. So what I did was this. I opened this up. I did half at a time, and I wasn't worried about the bottom of the box because obviously this is not going to show. So I tucked this underneath. Now, here was the problem that I ran into, was lining these dots up once it was embossed. So let me show you how I did that. Because you are folding some of the cardstock to the back, that makes this slightly thicker. So I'm going to recommend that you use no tab on your multi-purpose platform, and you lay this in here and then just run it through the Big Shot. Do you see what I'm talking about here? How there's a half of a circle because of the end of the embossing folder. If you're really good at this, you can line this back up and try to put it back through, but I will tell you that I was not successful. However, I did find that when I put the whole box together that it wasn't noticeable at all. So that's a great tip on how to get the whole thing looking the same all the way around. And this is this week's Dynamic Duo. I look forward to seeing you next week for Make It Monday.